Okay, let's get to even more dirtier stuff. So a few years back, maybe about 3, 4 years back, you did a podcast with Long Legs, aka Devin, and Miss Stubbs, and you kind of like brothers and sisters, and real close. What caused you guys to hit a brick wall when you were working together, not only on a podcast set, but what caused y'all to hit a brick wall just in y'all partnership of just trying to work together and be friends? Like what made y'all hit a brick wall? Let me clear that up. Okay, so we talking about airing out dirty laundry, but keeping it settled. When I worked with Devin a few years back when she first got into podcasts and she brought me on as a guest, she was basically schooling me and letting me see how the game is and when you want on somebody else's umbrella. And I knew I had a powerful mind already. I was already doing audio podcasts on my own, on this company that I forget the name of them. They give you 10 trials and free trials. And make a long story short, she introduced me to what I call the plug. And she was doing her own show and she put me on. So I'm not here to bash nobody. I just get to the bottom of it. Having her on my show was different than being on hers. Of course, she got me and she taught me something about how podcasting goes. But then when she came on my show, we had to have restrictions because I know how she is, and we had to basically figure out how to work with each other. But to make a long story short, man, the other problems and friendships and things like that is you're here to learn from each other. And when I feel like you can't learn from me or I can't learn from you, then we hit a wall. Not a rookie wall, but a regular wall. And that's what we did. We hit a wall. And I just had to be like, you know what, our friendship ain't worth keep going on anymore because, you're not learning from me and I'm not learning from you. And I'll give you an example. I had to go make a run and she was in my house. And I mean, it's no problem. Mine's is yours. But, she went in my refrigerator. She ate some muffins out my refrigerator. She didn't ask me. And now I'm like, who stole the muffins out my refrigerator? And I asked her and she like, oh, it slipped my mind. And I'm like, are you serious? So when you was in my refrigerator eating food, you didn't call me to tell me, hey, is it okay if I had this? I got daughters. That could have been their food. Okay, any woman would have been irate. You ate my kid's stuff. Who the hell you think you is? Well, I know how they feel now. And it wasn't karma because I wasn't that dude eating the kid's stuff up, okay? I ain't wanting to get chopped back then, and I don't want to get chopped now older me, okay? But she gave me something that was kind of like hard to deal with because I asked her and she said it slipped her mind. And I was like, well, maybe you should take this application and I'll send it to you and fill it out. And it was from apartments.com. And I said, that's how I found my home. And maybe you should get your own so you'll know how it is to have people go in your refrigerator and eat your food. Well, that led to, a fallout basically because it was a slur. But it was basically to tell her, like, if you're not going to respect another person's place, you should have your own so you can go and get respect at your own. So, I mean, reality is when you're in your 30s, you shacking at your mom's and your grandmom's, I mean, unless if you just was in a marriage and somebody said, get the F out my house that y'all both had together, there's no excuse of you really living with your mom or your grandmom unless if they're ill and they're sick and you got to take care of them. And if that's not the case, then you need to get your own place, get your own space, make your own rules, make your own land. And I told her that. She got offended. How could you say that? You ain't even been in your own place for a year. I said, because I was living with another woman paying bills at her house. And when it didn't work, I went and got my own place. But the bottom line is if you by yourself like Long Legs is, you got to get your own place. So we had a fallout about that, but she's still right here in my heart, ever so lasting. But stay at a distance is what you got to do, certain people. So that's what happened with me and Long Legs. We had a little falling out, but nothing major. Just, food in the refrigerator type of thing. It's all good, girl. It's all good. It's all good. I still love you, though. But the bottom line is I want you to think bigger. I want you to get bigger paychecks. I want you to get a second job and get more money. And I want you to eat more, get your own place. I want you to stack and have thousands in your bank accounts. And she'll say, well, you don't even have that. Why do you want that for me? Because you don't have no children, okay? You have nothing holding you back from being great. Okay? You don't have nothing keeping you in one spot. Okay? So you have more opportunities than I do because I'm tied to my two to make sure they're good for the rest of their life and take care of them, and my obligations is to them. Without any of those obligations, I probably wouldn't even be living in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to be honest with you. LA is a bigger, brighter place, but Atlanta is my heart. I'd probably be living in Atlanta right now, but I'm going to be here to see my kids graduate and do well. You know what I'm saying? And that's that.